Good day, Doc Halos. Good day, Sciences. I am Altea Sordena, your reporter for today. My report is all about Lesson 8.2, Education 4.0 in the School Curriculum. The desired learning outcomes for these topics are explain what Education 4.0 in the school curriculum and discuss ways of implementing Education 4.0. Before I proceed to the topic, there is a task I need to fulfill and here are my answers. According to the speaker, Dr. John Baruch, Education 4.0 is an adaptation to changes driven by technology and science. Students must be taught to be innovative and creative. Education system must develop creativity in the school curriculum. Students need to be taught to have freedom and confidence to try these skills, and to do it, students need to recognize the value of diversity and value of working in teams. Students should be given the confidence to actually work in new ways to be innovative. Let's now proceed to the content focus of this lesson, Industrial Revolution 4.0 and Education 4.0. Education 4.0 is a response to Industrial Revolution 4.0, or also known as IR 4.0. What is IR 4.0 or Industrial Revolution 4.0? This is the fourth Industrial Revolution. It comes after the first, second, and third Industrial Revolution, which is also referred as IR 1.0, IR 2.0, and IR 3.0 respectively. But first, what is Industrial Revolution all about? According to Schwab, who is the founder and executive chairman of the World Economic Forum, the International Organization for Public-Private Cooperation describes Industrial Revolution as the appearance of new technologies and novel ways of perceiving the world that trigger a profound change in economic and social structures. Here are the different stages of Industrial Revolution. The first one is Industrial Revolution 1.0. It began in the 18th century. It is known as the invention of steam engine. With the invention of steam engine, human labor was replaced by machines. Many laborers lost their jobs because machines do their work efficiently. The second one is Industrial Revolution 2.0. It began in the 19th century through the discovery of electricity and assembly line production. It is also known as the Age of Science and Mass Production. There are also a number of key inventions like gasoline engines, airplanes, and chemical fertilizers. Here, the science advancements were not applied only in laboratories, but it is brought in factories, like the assembly line, which effectively powered mass production. Henry Ford Company, were by the early part of the 20th century, mass-produced cars with gasoline engines built on an assembly line. The third one is Industrial Revolution 3.0. It is the digital revolution. It began in the 20th century through partial automation using memory programmable controls and computers. The movement from analog electronic and mechanical devices to digital technology, which dramatically disrupted industries, especially global communications. Sa ngayon, ang mga karaniwan na natin ginagamit ay mga smartphones at smart TV. Natitulad dati na gumagamit pa tayo ng TV na nilalagyan ng antena, pero sa ngayon ang nagagamit na ay touchscreen at internet-connected na maaaring makapag-stream ng mga movies. Industrial Revolution 4.0. It is computers connected to computers. It is interconnectivity. It is the Internet of Things, or the IoT, or the Artificial Intelligence. In Industrial Revolution 4.0, we have robots, driverless cars, genetic sequencing and editing, miniaturized sensors, and 3D printing, to name some. Dito sa Industrial Revolution 4.0, madali na tayong makipag-communicate sa mga tao kahit saan mang sulok ng mundo. At madali na tayong ma-update tungkol sa mga news locally man o globally. Global community connects everything, everywhere, always, or the internet of everything. Stem cell curing becomes obsolete. With genetic sequencing and editing, we can now remove the sickness. Let's now talk about Education 4.0. Education 4.0 is the response of the education sector to all the changes brought about by Industrial Revolution 4.0. Schools have no choice but to respond to dramatic changes brought about by Industrial Revolution 4.0 if they need to be relevant. Higher education institutions cannot ignore this development or else become irrelevant. Here are some statistics schools should consider to be relevant. The first one is 80% of the skills trained in the last 50 years can now be outperformed by machines. The next one is 65% of children who entered in 2018 will work in a job that have not been invented yet. The third one is 49% of current jobs have the potential for machine replacement. With the efficiency of machines, routinized jobs can be done by machines with greater efficiency than human laborers. Dito pumapasok na dapat ang mga human laborers ay marunong gumamit ng mga machines at their advantage. Alam naman natin na ang mga machines ay walang human characteristic tulad ng creativity, flexibility, compassion, at empathy. Kung kaya't ang mga school curricula ay dapat mag-focus sa development ng mga human characteristic na ito. Actually, creativity and flexibility, compassion, and empathy form part of the 10 skills demanded by Industrial Revolution 4.0 enumerated by the World Economic Forum report. Here are the 10 skills demanded by Industrial Revolution 4.0. The first one is complex problem solving. The next one is critical thinking. The third one is creativity. The fourth one is people management. The fifth one is coordinating with others. The sixth is emotional intelligence. The seventh is judgment and decision making. The eighth is service orientation. The ninth is negotiation. And lastly is cognitive flexibility. Education 4.0 must intentionally and formally include program outcomes, course outcomes, and learning outcomes that are focused on the development of the 10 skills for success in the Industrial Revolution 4.0. School curricula should develop a new generation that is analytical in their way of thinking and is continuously adaptable to new skills and new roles. Course content must necessarily purposely include or integrate these 10 skills. They must be taught to welcome machines and other features brought by Industrial Revolution 4.0. Learners should be taught that artificial intelligence can enhance and optimize creativity but cannot create. Artificial intelligence is a great creative tool for scientists, artists, musicians, and writers. Learners must therefore be taught how to use machines with their unprecedented processing power, storage capacity, and their unlimited access to knowledge. Learners must be made to understand that artificial intelligence cannot replace workers in creative jobs but can do the routine jobs at the service of humans. Teaching methods, strategies, and activities must be such that these top skills for success in IR 4.0 must be developed. Problem-based learning, project-based learning, service learning, immersion, shadowing, internship are expected regular features of teaching learning methods and strategies. Models of teaching shall be flexible with knowledge anywhere, anytime. Lesson delivery can be flexible. We can have flipped classrooms where students are given the problems or questions in class and they go out to search for answers to the problems or questions, then come back to share their answers. One can combine face-to-face instruction with online learning. Assessment of learning will not be limited to paper and pencil tests. The assessment of knowledge, skills, and values is done through more authentic modes of assessment. For my Take Action activity, I am tasked to research on how schools teach each of the following to prepare learners for Industrial Revolution 4.0. Here are the skills I need to research for: complex problem solving, critical thinking, creativity, people management, coordinating with others, emotional intelligence, judgment and decision making, service orientation, negotiation, and cognitive flexibility. Here are my answers for my Take Action activity. Schools teach complex problem solving through the use of deductive method and explicit teaching. Schools teach cognitive flexibility and critical thinking through inquiry-based teaching. Schools teach creativity through project-based teaching. Schools teach people management, coordinating with others, judgment and decision making, and negotiation through empowering and capacitating learners, inspiring volunteerism, development of lifelong skills. Schools teach emotional intelligence through conduct of various activities related to gender and sensitivity and other guidance counseling programs. Schools teach service orientation through the conduct of advocacy programs. For the self-check activity, what do I know? What can I tell? If you are asked to lecture on Education 4.0 and how schools can help prepare learners for Industrial Revolution 4.0, what will you dwell on? What will be the meat of your lecture? Show it in an outline made of sentences. For the self-reflect, we are tasked to answer, are you ready for Industrial Revolution 4.0? What skills should you develop more in order not to be redundant or replaced by robots? That's the end of my report. Thank you for listening. Again, I am Altea Sorteña, BS Ed 3 Science.